Hi, I'm Daniel Krasnegor from Goodman, Donnelly's Veterans Benefits Group. And I'm here to talk to you today about how you can try and win a claim for service connection for a condition that was caused by Agent Orange when you don't qualify for presumptive benefits. As you may know, back in 1991, Congress passed some laws and the VA implemented rules that allow certain veterans who were exposed to Agent Orange to have an easier time winning their claims for service connection. However, those benefits and those rules only apply to certain veterans and only apply to certain disabilities. So what do you do if you're not on that list? Well, let me tell you first, there are two different kinds of presumptions that the law provides for. The first one is a presumption of exposure to Agent Orange, and the second one is a presumption that if you were exposed to Agent Orange, there are certain kinds of disabilities which are presumed to have been caused by the Agent Orange. When I talk about presumptions, I'm talking about rules that the VA has that apply only to certain veterans. That is, VA rules say that veterans who served between certain dates, January 9th, 1962 and May 7th, 1975, in the Republic of Vietnam, that means on land or in the rivers inside Vietnam, or in certain cases in the waters just outside Vietnam, those veterans are all presumed to have been exposed to Agent Orange. The second kind of presumption I'm talking about is a presumption that certain diseases are related to Agent Orange. So there's a list that you may have seen before, and this includes certain kinds of cancers and skin conditions which the VA says are presumed to be due to exposure, if you were exposed. What I want to talk to you about today is what you might want to think about doing if you do not qualify for either one of these presumptions. So first of all, what happens if your presumptive disease is not on the official list that the VA uses? Well, in that case, you're still allowed to get service connection, and you're still allowed to take advantage of the presumption of exposure. So if you served on land in Vietnam during the appropriate period from 1962 to 1975, you're still presumed to have been exposed to Agent Orange. However, if you do not have one of the diseases on the presumptive list, you're still going to have to show, just like any other veteran in any other situation, that your particular disease was likely caused by your exposure to Agent Orange. And what you have to do in order to do this is you have to have some medical evidence, usually a statement in writing from a doctor or other medical professional, that explains that your condition, whatever it happens to be, was likely caused or aggravated by your exposure to Agent Orange. And hopefully the doctor can also give at least some explanation of how they came to that conclusion. And finally, let me talk to you about what you might need to do if you do not qualify for the presumption of exposure. In that case, you're going to have to prove by the preponderance of the evidence that you were actually exposed to Agent Orange in service. There are a number of ways you can try and do this. For instance, by documenting that you were involved in actually spraying or handling the Agent Orange, or showing that Agent Orange was sprayed or used in the area where you served. And there are resources available for this depending on where you served. And finally, if you do not qualify for the presumption of exposure and your disease is not on the presumptive list, you're going to have to prove, just like any veteran, not only that you were exposed to Agent Orange, but you're also going to have to provide medical evidence that the disease you have was likely caused by your exposure. And that information is going to need to come from someone who has expertise, probably a medical doctor or other medical professional, along with an explanation for why they believe that it's likely that the Agent Orange exposure caused your disease. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I'm Daniel Krasnegor with Goodman, Donnelly's Veterans Benefit Group. It's great having the opportunity to speak to you today from the internet. But we're always available if you have additional questions, comments, or questions. Just contact us using the information you can see below.